Hey everybody, welcome back to the Challenger Face-Off here on Hitbox. I'm Stress. Alongside me for the next couple of games is actually going to be Nature, so glad to have you with me here for the remainder of the group stage. And we're into Gamers2 versus N Faculty, and this very well could decide who will rest at the top of the table when it's all said and done.
Yeah, G2 haven't played in this tournament in the round robins just yet. So this could be some interesting stuff. And Faculty at the moment are, of course, at the top of the standings. So it's probably their game to lose at this point. And in the polls, we did see that 80% did think that G2 were going, or that and Faculty were going to win this one.
We've gone pretty quickly through the picks and bans already, and to be honest, nothing all that surprising being banned away. Ziggs is going to be the first lock-in, likely to go over to Ocelot. I was about to say Yasuo, but Yasuo is a champion, and that champion has been banned away. So, Gamers2, I haven't casted them for a little while actually myself, so it'll be interesting to see where they place against a rising N Faculty team who seem to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, they seem to be doing pretty well indeed. Prombear and Obvious are just about to pick their champions. Kassadin, Jackson, Kill being banned out on their side, which are the exact same bans that we saw yesterday in the Dr. Pepper qualifiers. So that's something they like to stick with, and it seems it's going to be the Lulu and the Caitlyn for them.
Interesting. So we've seen Lulu as being a very tested pick for the top lane pretty much right now. Caitlyn is pretty good in that bottom lane up against a, the typical champions. We're seeing a lot of Twitch, seeing a lot of Lucian. So Caitlyn can compete fairly well on 4.10, and we are on the live server as well. So keep that in mind, guys. We are completely up to date with where you guys are on solo queue. But Gamers2 looking for the next couple of picks, likely to be a jungler and AD carry here. So probably Lee Sin, Lucian. Wouldn't be too surprised to see that. Maybe even the Twitch that we've seen a couple of times. Since now Caitlyn's locked in, it doesn't really matter whether they pick their AD now or a little bit later.
Yeah, and it seems like it's going to be the Nami and the Lucian and the Lee Sin at this point. So that means they will have a bit of that peel on their bottom lane, which is always nice against something like a Lulu who will speed up and chase you down. On the other side, however, in Faculty, they're hovering over the Lux. I don't think it's going to be a Lux, but the Braum, however, for Mountain might very well be locked in here.
Yeah, that very much could be a Braum Caitlyn, which would be pretty good. Would be, Caitlyn with the range makes it slightly easier than perhaps a lot of champions to stack up that Braum passive, just by the way that depending on how close and how far away they engage, it's one of those things, a back and forth. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be a Lux. It's going to get changed over, and Evelyn would make a lot of sense here. It's a strong jungler right now on the current patch, and synergizes pretty well with Braum as well.
Yeah, Evelyn is something we've been seeing a whole lot lately, so it can really put up the pressure on the enemy team if they don't invest in a lot of vision. Mainly it's going to be deep vision, of course, to spot out the path the Evelyn is using, or it's going to be pink wards, but those can of course be spotted out by the Evelyn, so that is also going to cost you a bit more gold in the end. On the other side now, Yuki and Dude going to pick up their champions. It's going to be the Lucian probably, and after that, of course, probably their top laner.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a Shyvana. Oh, and as I say it, they hover over it. That makes a lot of sense here. I mean, Jax is banned, Irelia's banned. It is JWoww, so he could just pick up something that has damage, like a Kha'Zix. I do not expect that, however, because, of course, Kha'Zix got changed a little bit, so he's not exactly a top laner either right now in the current meta, but, it's JWoww, so he can always throw a curveball at us. But locks in the Shyvana, probably going to lock in the Lucian here as well, and to be honest, that's a very consistent team composition that Gamers2 have. There's a lot of catch, a lot of damage. So yeah, it's looking pretty good, but I'm liking the basis of this N Faculty composition where they get a flank with Evelyn, get that Glacial Fissure, and Caitlyn on Steelback cleans up from the back.
Alright, so Mountain is at the moment, he was hovering over the Nidalee. At the moment he's hovering over the Z. We haven't seen the Z for a while now. So I'm not going to assume he locks this one in. Okay, so he's just trolling us at the moment. The Nidalee, however, is something I would like to touch on because I did see a video, I believe yesterday or so, where someone explained the Nidalee is still a very good pick, even though she isn't quite as good at what she used to do. She's very good at other stuff, but it's going to be the Orianna for them in the mid lane.
Oh man, when he hovered over Mordecai Zarya, I was actually saying to myself, he's going for Orianna. That sounds really weird, but it's one of these intuition things when you watch a lot of picks and bans phases, is when people start trolling, it means they're going to default to like the most boring thing. So I was like, well, it's Orianna against the Ziggs. It's what it's going to be with an Evelynn. There are a couple of options that are available, but Orianna's always going to be consistent in whichever team composition you pick her in. So yeah, it's a good pickup there for N Faculty to round up their lineup. And to be honest, I think both teams have pretty decently strong lineups for themselves, but it's all about the execution in game, and in game is where we're heading because we're going into the delay period, which means we will be back in just a couple of minutes here with the Hitbox Challenger Faceoff.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hitbox Challenger Face-Off. Nature here with Stress. It is the game between G2 and Faculty in the round robins.
Yeah, it is indeed, and it's the first time we're seeing Gamers2 here today. And it'll be interesting to see how they fare up against Faculty, who currently are leading 2-0 in the group stage. So, they pretty much have booked their ticket to that first place, or at least second place spot. If they can get past Gamers2, that would definitely put them in contention, well, would definitely put them top of the table.
Yep, because that would mean they were 3-0 at the moment. By the way, quick message, make sure you follow the stream because you will be notified of all our upcoming tournaments, and that is obviously not something you would want to miss. So far, both of these teams heading out. Do we expect any invades here, Stress?
We haven't seen any properly today. I mean, to be honest, we saw NIP go a little bit into the jungle in game 1 of the day for them, but it didn't exactly work out in their favour. So that was more of Coup overextending rather than an actual invade as such. So it'll be interesting to see. We haven't seen any of the 5-man invades yet, and it doesn't look like we're going to see one here either.
No, both teams just fanning out, making sure they have got all of those jungle entrances covered, that they know if something would erupt here. Morden just going to throw in one of those wards there. Don't think they are going to invade on the back of that, just for some extra vision, and vision is information. Information is of course power in this game.
It is. Knowledge is power. Morden, well, could have used the attack speed there, but didn't have a Q available, so couldn't have done it. So Ward goes down into the bush. They get that little bit of knowledge, just knowing that there's no invade, and Faculty will be pretty content with that. And it looks to be like standard lanes.
It seems like it indeed. You might see, well, JWoww and of course Prombe are going to help out their junglers, but they are indeed going to face off against each other in that top lane. And I believe, yeah, I did see Prombear playing against another Shyvana yesterday, and he bullied him quite hard. So JWoww might be not in for the best game of his life here.
Oh man, dude gets to lane, instantly hits a bubble there on Steelback, and that's a lot of damage down. However, they are going to trade it back there. And in fact, with that second little engage, Gamers2 end up behind in that trade.
They will be forced to maybe chug some potions and play a bit more defensively. The poke of these two AD carries is of course quite extensive, so this is something you want to be careful about. Steelback puts another headshot down on Duty, and he might not have the best of times. Actually, they're going in for Steelback here. Winter's Bite comes through, and that's going to be the end of that engagement. But Steelback once again taking a bit of poke.
Oh man, if that Winter's Bite had hit, they may have been able to trade a little bit better there, but this bottom lane is back and forth with trading all the time here because the supports are just landing things constantly, and it's making it a very tricky place to lane, and Steelback should, for these first few levels, have the advantage over range, but he was forced back and has to pick up boots. That is not good for a Caitlyn. It's a bad sign early on.
Yeah, this is not what you would want if you are on the Faculty team, of course. We did see Morden sneaking around near that mid lane, might have been looking for a gank on Purefect, who is, by the way, a sub for Faculty, as Sigu is on vacation, apparently. So we might want to pay a bit of attention to him, as he might have some trouble fitting in with the team, but he might also be extremely comfortable here. I am not too sure, as I didn't quite catch the earlier games.
Yeah, they've been looking very good. Wow, good double rubble in the bottom lane as well. But yeah, and Faculty, even with a couple of substitutes, have been looking really strong. And you know, they're a team that a lot of people would underestimate coming into this. Everybody was saying this was NIP pretty easily going to take this tournament. So it's interesting to see Faculty coming out really being a top of the group contender.
Yeah, and let's see whether they can push that through into the bracket stages of this tournament, because a win would be very, very nice for them here. after I believe they were defeated at DreamHack. Did they actually? Yeah, I think they attended DreamHack, right?
And Faculty, yeah, they did. They ended up... I'm trying to remember who they beat. It may even have been... No, it wasn't NIP. They ended 2-1 in their group, so I think they beat Alternate and another team, but they look fairly good.
Alright, so far, not a whole lot of action here. Small group lead for G2, but aside from that, it is not too much that they are in the lead here. We do see Morden sneaking up in that bottom lane. He might just move towards that second brush here, but we do also see Obvious sneaking up there as well. He is going to try and flank around the side. Yuki and Dude might be in for a bit of trouble. Mountain jumps in with the stand behind me, but here is Morden to turn this one around. Good bubble. The shield comes out, but it might not be enough. Throws out the shield and makes a run for it. In the end, teleport coming down from that top side of the map. Obvious now trying to chase down Dude. Frombear a bit too far away, throws down the Whimsy, but he's not going to catch up here, and no kills go down in the end.
But they are able to pressure out the Dragon from this. Look at how low they've got a couple of members of Gamers2. Even Morden is low here, so they're forced to chug potions. And Faculty are looking for Dragon, but the wards coming over the back is enough to actually make them stop.
Yeah, they might not have been too comfortable contesting that Dragon, or actually going to try and take down that Dragon with JWoww and his teleport still available, because that might have been quite bad if he managed to get in at the right time and deal enough damage. In that mid lane, Ocelot being pressured quite hard. He is going to back away at the moment, sitting on 1400 gold, so he'll probably be able to pick himself up something nice, but decides against backing away in the end. We'll just throw out the Mega Inferno Bomb to make sure his wave pushes out and that he doesn't get denied too much minions.
Now, we are endeavouring to get the stream back up for you guys very quickly, but unfortunately we are still having a little bit of an error, so we'll get that back up for you, but unfortunately we're onto a radio cast for now. Luckily not a lot is actually happening right this second, but yeah, it's a pretty slow pace now after that little bit of engagement in the bottom lane.
Yeah, both of these teams not really wanting to risk anything at this stage in the game. It's still a very small gold lead here for G2. Of course, you can't really say anything about that because it's not really that significant at this stage. And well, we're just going to have to see which team actually makes a move here first, because so far both of the teams have been quite hesitant. Dude putting some damage down on Steelback in that bottom lane, but he doesn't care too much.
There we go. We are back up on your screen, so there you go. Nothing too much to worry about now that we're back into game. But 0-0 is the scoreline. That might change as a bubble hits.
Bubble hits, but Yuki gets traded upon very quickly. Does now have those 3 stacks on himself. Will not quite get stunned up, however, and that's going to be the end of that engagement once more. Morden now hanging around in the bottom side of his jungle. Could be looking for a gank soon, but at this point it is still quite tricky to pull that off, I think, as we do see Perfect getting his blue buff gifted over.
Yep, we'll get given that. And again, bottom lane, look at the damage down. That's, I mean, Mountain is looking for it. Got the Winter's Bite, but can't follow it up with an actual kill. But that's likely to be a lot of damage down on the turret, or even maybe a dragon here.
We do certainly see Mountain and Steel. Oh, I thought they were going to go for that dragon, but instead they're going to back away at the moment. Steelback sitting on 1600 gold is going to pick himself up that BF sword, which is always nice. The extra damage is not something you would like to have against you if you are in that bottom lane. On the other side, Lucian is going to go with the Bilgewater Cutlass. Didn't quite have the gold for that BF sword, I think.
Yeah, well, typically we're seeing a lot of Lucians build Blade of the Ruined King into Ghost Blade, as opposed to the Infinity Edge builds. out of a lot of Caitlyn, a lot of other champions. So what the Blade into Ghost Blade gives you is, now the Blade gives you something like, I think it's 8% of current health. It's actually a significant amount of damage, and Ghost Blade gives you a nice amount of attack speed, movement speed, which of course is going to help with the culling, as well as Lucian's damage just in general. So there's a good set of items now for both different styles of AD carries. It means that Lucian is going to have that mid-game spike a little bit more powerful than Caitlyn, because Caitlyn needs to wait for the Infinity Edge and the Phantom Dance or Static Shift to really start outputting damage.
Okay, so looking at the polls, interestingly enough, people voted for Faculty to take this game over G2, but now people are voting with 72% that G2 is going to get first blood here, so maybe the vote or the general consensus has swung around at the moment.
Yeah, well, I'll have to keep an eye on that as the game goes on, and ward into the blue buff by Dude has to be careful as Winter's bite over the wall. And the ace in the whole channel. Okay, so trying to get Dude out of lane, but look at just the heal already is going to keep him there. So, not too sure what that was about, but maybe trying to just open up a little bit more dragon control by putting damage down onto Dude.
I think they were going to try and follow that up by obvious chasing him down, but obviously Dude was a bit too quick for them, and he didn't quite get the speed that he needed. Now we do see that teleport being channeled up towards the top lane. Prombear still has his teleport available at the moment, and Obvious is flanking around in that bottom lane, so we might see some action going down here soon. Morden is close, but maybe not quite close enough. Yuki and Dude aren't backing away, but they are keeping a safe distance, so they might know, or they might have sniffed that something is going on at the moment. Obvious sneaking into the other lane brush is taking his time, but maybe patience is a virtue in this case.
I thought for a second Obvious had missed his timing window. They've seen him now.
Oh, there's a Glacial Fissure. Doesn't quite connect on towards either of them, and that's going to be the end of that. Very unfortunate for Mountain not connecting that one, and that means they will have to try their luck elsewhere.
I feel like Obvious really should have come into the lane when Dude and Yuki were pushed up, but they didn't know where Morden was, so it wasn't really a safe gank for them. And again, now they are looking to pressure out this bottom lane. Mountain is stepping forward, but Morden knows he's not on a ward because of the pink in that tri-bush, so Morden had a gap there, but wasn't able to come in and convert it. But going to clear out, I was going to say going to clear out a ward at Dragon, but the ward is going to spot him doing it.
Yeah, Morden right now and the rest of G2 trying to take down this Dragon. Mountain is pretty close. Here's the teleport out of Prombear. Ace and all being challenged. Dude will not go down because of that, but Morden is going to pick up the Dragon. On the side, we do see Dude going down. In the end, now Morden safeguarding over the wall. It's going to be first blood for Faculty, but G2 take the Dragon.
Kill for Dragon in favor of G2. They will take that trade, and they are getting good damage down onto the top tower as well. So that works out in favor of Gamers2. Even though it was a very risky play, still going to work out for them. And I mean, they needed to get there and contest with Obvious a little bit earlier, but just wasn't in position to do so.
And now that Yuki and Dude have backed away, this might open up that bottom turret to actually go down here. Steelback and Mountain are in fact going to take this one down. So in the end, it might still be a favorable trade for Faculty, but in the top lane, the turret goes down as well. So in the end, I'd say that G2 still come out ahead in this case. Steelback and Mountain going to back off here. I'm not too sure whether they would want to recall here because it is a cannon minion wave, but they are going to do it anyway. Oh, actually, they're going to stick around, it seems.
They're getting toyed around here a little bit because Dude was checking it. Dude was checking whether they were recalling or not because, as you said, it's a siege wave, so it's a really good wave to stick around on. But Faculty know they can't go back if that is indeed pushing into them. And they have stayed, which when you look at Caitlyn's gold, she really wants to get back and get that critical strike cloak and a pickaxe, but at this rate it may just be worth her holding this turret until you can afford the full Infinity Edge.
Might very well be the case. Morden now in that bottom lane, sneaking in there to try his hand at a gank. And we do have Obvious quite close, but he is moving away at the moment. Yuki is actually backing away as well. 1000 gold in his pocket, so that's probably going to deny the gank, but he decides to stick around in the end as well. So they might still be looking for a gank. I feel like they're a bit too far pushed up in this lane, however.
Yeah, they a little bit too shoved in to actually get in for a gank here. But, I mean, it's a slow game compared to some of the ones we've had. I mean, Unicorns of Love and NIP were nearly done at this point, so that's something to keep in mind here.
It is indeed. Now we do see Pure Effect, who is going to ward up on that river ramp for some extra knowledge. And Morden sneaking into this lane. Actually, Tidal Wave coming through as well. And Mountain is going to go down. Yuki picks up the kill. Morden wasn't even needed there, just for safe measure. But in the mid lane, Ocelot could be in trouble as well. Dissonance comes down, uses the heal. Obvious isn't done with him just yet, however. And he is going to go down. It's a 1-for-1.
1-for-1 overall, but is the action all done yet? Because you can see them heading up maybe towards the top lane is Obvious, so they're looking to catch out JWoww perhaps if he overextends. No wards out for JWoww, but it does look like it's not really on here for Obvious.
Obvious will be able to sneak into that lane unspotted, and he will actually be able to flank around JWoww. He will at least burn the ultimate out of JWoww, you have to feel like, but the Whimsy comes through. That's going to deny him burning that ultimate. Wild Growth coming through as well. JWoww taking so much damage. Flash comes through out of Obvious and Brombear. He will go down, and Obvious picks up the kill. Right now they are looking to put some damage on towards this turret, but Morden and Dude are going to have a say in this one as well. Prombear is going to Whimsy away. Obvious has already reached that stealth point. He's now trying to speed himself away as he will get spotted out. Whimsy coming through and towards him. Morden is going to follow up, however, and he will pick up the kill. Now Glacial Freezer is going to go wide here, and that means it's going to be the end of that. I believe it was a 1-for-1 in the end.
Yeah, 1-for-1 overall, and I mean, that right now is kind of going to be okay for Gamers2. They got a kill onto Obvious, who was starting to pick up a little bit of momentum there. So, Obvious is actually building slightly differently to what we've seen a couple of Evelyn's builds. So, there are two different routes. You can either go tanky or damage. So, the Blade of the Rune King build on Evelyn is going to help him stick to his targets a lot better, and it makes it very difficult to get away from. The only problem with that is sometimes it can be a little bit flimsy as a build. You rely a lot on Agony's Embrace to actually stay alive, but it is very much so an okay build to get. It has been done before, is what I'm trying to say, I guess.
That mid lane, both of the teams clashing or bashing their heads against each other, rather. As Morden gets spotted out, Prombear gets the Sonic Wave on himself. There's the ace in the hole on towards Ocelot. And Morden might be a bit out of position. Shockwave comes through on towards Ocelot, however. And Prombear picks up the kill with the Glitterlands. And Mountain in a bit of trouble. He'll get knocked away by Morden. Morden with the safeguard on towards Yuki is going to try and get away on the back of that. But he will be able to do so, unfortunately for Faculty. And it seems, or actually Morden might still be in trouble. No, he will probably make it out alive of this one. He's really toying with his fate at the moment. But it seems like the turret is going to go down nonetheless. And then Faculty start to consolidate their lead.
They do indeed. Look at the big wave pushing in the bottom lane as well. So it's fairly even, but as you said, Dragon is coming up. And they know that somebody has to clean up bottom wave. So it's going to be Dragon going over to end Faculty, and this is what we've seen from them a couple of times here already in this group stage. They've had really good Dragon control, and now they may even have caught Dude.
Yeah, Dude is going to try and get out of this one, and JWoww might actually pay the price for that. They have already taken down the Dragon. Now JWoww jumps in his Dragon form. They're going to try and get out straight after that. Mega Inferno Bomb comes through. Mountain will go down first to Yuki. Now looking for his double kill in the form of Prombear. Prombear uses the Whimsy. Is it going to be enough to make sure he gets out safely? He is actually going to run in towards his own jungle, and he will reach a safe distance. It's a Dragon for a kill, but it might also be a turret going down here on top.
Yeah, the turret will somewhat even the gold there and keep Gamers2 ever so slightly ahead there, but Faculty were sitting on a fair amount of gold before they ended up going back, so in fact so are Gamers2 right now. They have about 1,000 gold on a couple of champions, so they're going to head back, spend up, and get their items. But Caitlyn, ooh, looking for the ace in the hole, will put a little bit of damage down, but has finished that Infinity Edge, so this is one of the points where Caitlyn is going to start doing a lot of damage. They just need to get her to her second item, and from there, that really is a good point for Faculty to be in. But this is a very close game. The gold is completely even.
Now Faculty collapsing around this blue buff area. JWoww needs to be a bit careful here. There's the Hell Picks on towards him, and it is going to be the Smite to secure the blue buff right there. Denying the blue buff from Ocelot is actually quite huge in this case, even though he does have one himself. So if he wouldn't have had one, it would have been quite huge, but in this case they had to make sure that he didn't get another.
Indeed. Now the passenger plate is slowing once again. There you go, the brutalizer has been picked up for Yuki, going towards that ghost blade. So as expected, current meta picks here for our AD carries and their itemizations. Nothing completely out of the ordinary here. I think that just kind of sums up a lot of the games today. Nothing has been particularly out there compared to what we've seen, so it'll be interesting to see which teams start to bring in a couple of new compositions. We saw NIP try their Rengar composition. It didn't end up working out against Faculty because they were just too strong with Yasuo, so we'll see whether they bring that back in their later game, but everything's kind of just been very vanilla with regards to current meta compositions.
Well, they might try and actually explode in that bottom lane on the side of G2. Teleport coming through to try and defend that turret. From there, making sure his glitter lances do work. Ace in though coming through. Dude will take that one for the team. And now Pure Effect is going to join in here as well. That means it is a 4 versus 4 in this bottom lane. But they have spotted out Pure Effect at the moment, and I think it is going to be quite hard to try and siege up this turret, especially against the dissonance of Pure Effect. But they are sticking to the plan, and they are going to try and siege this one down, it seems.
Yeah, they are, but there's a lot here for Faculty, so they maybe bait it out into a fight here, and they do have good wave clear on Faculty. Caitlyn is pretty good at that, but here comes Shyvana from the side. JWoww might be caught out. Ooh, Winter's Bite very nearly hitting.
JWoww is going to be enough to deter Faculty from actually trying to defend that turret. So they give up the turret and they make sure they don't go down. But now that they know that everything is about to go down in that bottom lane, they call down Obvious as well. And they try and hold their ground at the moment. G2 are giving up though. They are now moving back towards their own side of the map, but they are also slowly making sure they get that vision control once more.
Yeah, they need to make sure they don't get strangled out of the vision game, because we've seen that happen time and time again against players. But look at the vision out from Gamers2. If you can see that they've got complete vision of the bottom side of the map, and Faculty, as I was saying, they're kind of getting constricted out here because they've only got a couple of wards, a little spattering of vision here and there, and it's not really enough to contend against some of the objectives. Dragon is up in a minute 30. They've got to keep on top of that.
Yeah, this is probably going to be another good point of contention, or large point of contention for both teams, as it is of course getting worth more and more gold, and that is something you want to keep track of, and especially now that Faculty is behind, I don't think they want to lose their clean record at the moment, because they haven't lost a single game so far, so it is always nice to keep the record, but well, if it continues like this, they might not be in for such a good ride in this game.
Zigzalt is now down though, so they got to be careful with that. If they choose to engage, it's a big ultimate that isn't available. It is an 80-second cooldown, so with it coming up, it won't be in time for Dragon. It'll be about 20 seconds after the Dragon spawns, so if Faculty are quick to the Dragon, it may be a comfortable one to go in their favor.
Alright, so 20 seconds indeed. Both of the teams are really feeling the tension, I would imagine, at this point. They know that something is about to happen, and actually G2 making the first move here, going for that blue buff on towards Ocelot, and they managed to secure it in Faculty. Not quite reacting as quickly as they might have wanted to. Obvious has been spotted out. There's the bouncing bomb out of Ocelot, almost spotted out Obvious once again there. And now in Faculty might look to try and take down this dragon. This is a very ballsy move though, because G2 is quite close. Ace in Norway is going to connect onto his Oswald. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage from the side. Culling comes through. Let's see who gets it. It is going to be Obvious. That secures the kill for Faculty. Now moving out, flashes out, actually throws down the Agnes Embrace. Mega Inferno Bomb coming through. You have to feel like Faculty need to disengage at this point. They are moving as far away as they can. Shockwave comes through as well, and they will make it out safely so far. We did see quite a lot, but from the backside, Borden will pick up one. Now the second kill going down for Oswald. Subak will pick up one for his team, but it might not be enough. Double kill comes through for Yuki rather, and it's a 4 for 1 so far. Now Prombear might be the next target. Don't think he's going to go down just yet though, and it stays a 4 for 1.
Oh man, and Faculty got caught out, so Steelback actually flashed forward to make sure they got the kill on Morden, I believe it was. And I mean, yes, they got a kill from that. It's 4 for 1 plus a dragon going over to end Faculty, but Gamers2 taking down the turret means they will come off better from that engagement. And now they're going to clear out the jungle once again. And is this finally a team competing with N Faculty here today? Because Gamers2 are starting to look pretty good in this. They got a 2,000 gold lead here, 7 kills to 5 up.
Yeah, they are looking very good indeed. It is starting to look a bit grim for N Faculty. Every time Ocelot is in vision range for Steelback, he throws out the Ace and O just to make sure that he is low enough if they were to get a pick on towards him or something like that. It's starting to do more and more damage as he has now completed his static shiv as well. So the crits and the attack speed are coming in here for him, but yeah, he did get bursted down pretty quickly last fight. Did manage to pick up the only kill for his team though.
Yeah, did manage that, but you know, we're at a situation in this game where Gamers2 right now, a little bit of a gold lead. They've got to be careful though, because Caitlyn is reaching a critical point. If she can get Last Whisper, that will do wonders for the N Faculty team composition. But when you look at things, that's Furor Boots actually or Furor, I can never say that properly, completed on Yuki, which is going to give him that extra movement speed. Along with that Ghost Blade, he's going to be able to catch up pretty quickly with anybody. And I mean, N Faculty are grouped here. If they can get a pick, it would result in a Baron pretty quickly, and it's actually what they're looking for, perhaps. They are angled around the area, just clearing it out. But with Shyvana down in the bottom lane, now hot-footing it over to Baron, Eve's looking for that pick around the side.
Yeah, the flank with the Agnes Embrace is always ideal, of course. Now Ocelot checking out the brushes. Mountain and Prombear will actually take down that pink ward, so they have now established somewhat of a good amount of vision control near that Baron area, though it is still quite tense here. D2 can of course try and contest this one, but at the moment they are going to back away and probably pick themselves up some items. The same goes for In Faculty, and Baron lives to see another day.
He'll be quite content in the Baron pit just to stay alive for now. But so Gamers2 are ahead. The thing is, as we always say, until the inhibitor turrets fall, it really is anyone's game. It's only after they start falling that really a team can take a massive lead. Right now, 4-0-1 on Yuki. He's well on his way to Last Whisper for himself, about 600 gold away from completing that. But can they break the N Faculty line on the rest of their turrets? Gamers2 think that Baron would be a good help with that, and they are actually going to angle themselves around it, acing the whole channel just to get some damage down, but with the shields and heals, it's actually not doing that much right now.
No, it is not indeed. Actually, the Ghost Blade coming through there for Yuki in that mid lane. Steelback is going to take a bit of damage because of that culling as well. But from the backside, Obvious now looking for the Agnes Embrace here on towards Ocelot. Tidal Wave coming through. There's the Glacial Fissure as well. Ocelot is actually gone back very far. Now JWoww trying to kill off Steelback. Steelback with the Wild Growth on himself. Shockwave will pull into. Is it going to be enough? Steelback actually goes down. And they try and disengage on the side of Unfaculty. They have lost their main carry. And oh, the bouncing bomb to finish off Tombear of the side. And now Mountain might be the next casualty of Yuki here. He is going to go down 10-5 as G2 start to really push their lead at the moment.
Yeah, G2 are going to take this mid tower, may even follow it up with an inhibitor tower from it. And I mean, losing Caitlyn that early on just really reduces their damage. However, look at Obvious. If he can cut a nice line in, Morden would certainly fall here, but it doesn't look like Obvious wants to go for it. And Perfect, out of mana, soon to be out of health as well.
Yeah, he is in a very desperate situation at the moment. Yuki indeed from the side are going to pick him up, but actually Obvious manages to pick up Morden nonetheless on the side. That's going to it's probably going to be enough to deter G2 from trying to pick up this Baron, since their jungler isn't here at the moment, and Faculty have now all rejoined the Rift, rejoined on the Rift, but Perfect is of course still in that death chamber.
The burn from Elder Lizard picked up Morden there for the kill, so Obvious has to be careful. That's probably a dead Obvious. Ooh. Oh, or not. Well-timed ultimate out of Prombear. I do not think that Yuki was expecting that damage.
And now in Faculty, they were going to try and take down the Baron, but they noticed that G2 was a little bit too close for their liking, so they decided to back away in the end. That was a nice pick there on towards Yuki. Let's see whether they can grab some more on top of that, because it's a nice pick, but you need more than only kills to win this game.
Yes, indeed. And, they couldn't get the Baron. That's a pretty big thing to note on that one. 11-7, 51-47. And Gamers2 are looking pretty strong here. I haven't casted them in a little while, so I was wondering how they were going to be coming into this. And Yuki looks as strong as ever from that AD carry position, and Morden looking for the dragon. Has to be careful, because Faculty are around and they do know that Shyvana is in that top lane with no teleport.
Oh, Obvious being bubbled up, and that is going to allow Ocelot to pick up the kill on towards that dragon. India now might become a casualty because of that, and he will indeed. Steelback picks up the kill, Culling comes through. There is the Glacial Fissure, won't quite connect on towards Yuki, however. Now here is that Ghost Blade on towards Obvious being used. Now he is trying to run away, however. Dragon's Ascent comes down, Mega Inferno Bomb as well. Shockwave might completely obliterate Yuki. Obvious is going to try and chase him down. He will actually pick up the kill. JWoww also going down. It's a 3-0 as Faculty set their sights for Baron.
And then Faculty will be able to take this. I mean, the Ziggs ultimate not available was used during that engagement, so Faculty, as long as they juggle this around, you can see Caitlyn over the wall can take down Baron here. You just have to juggle the damage and get the shields. Oriana's not with him. And Faculty, they may not actually be able to do this.
They do have a lot of shields, and it is going to be enough in the end. They were all very, very low. It was quite close in the end as well. Yeah? PvE still proving to be hard from time to time in this game.
Yeah, it is indeed.
Alright, so far it is 11 in kills. Still a 2,000 gold lead for G2. But Faculty do have the Baron, which is quite huge. So let's see what they can achieve with that buff equipped. They can now try and move in towards one of the lanes and try and siege a turret. Their minion wave has just cleared out that top lane outer turret, so that means the gold has almost been equalized.
Yeah, the gold is pretty close now, and to be honest, we're into a stage of the game where gold isn't as important. I mean, if you look at a Caitlyn with Infinity Edge, Static Shiv, Last Whisper, she's going to be doing probably the same amount of damage now as Lucian is, because Lucian hasn't had a chance to go and complete his Infinity Edge. He's very close on gold, and as I say that he is recalling and is likely to finish it right now. If he's got the gold, he can sell the Dorans and do it. There you go, Infinity Edge has been completed. So now there's a little bit more damage now on Lucian. Ace in the Hole comes out. Gamers2 will have wave clear for days though, with Ocelot being on Ziggs.
Yeah, that is of course something to keep in mind if you are in the faculty team. They are not giving up just yet, as I really want to get this turret, and they do have the Baron buff, so they so rightfully so, as they are slowly moving in here, but the minions are proving to be a problem at the moment as they get chunked down so quickly, and not a minion stands at the moment that they hit the turret that they were supposed to hit the turret. Obvious now trying to do a little bit of split pushing in the top lane, as they have also sent Prone Bear over towards that middle lane. They're going for a 1-3-1 strategy here, which might prove valuable enough, because of course you can only have one Ziggs per lane. One Ziggs in a lane.
Yeah, he's can't really multiply. That would be be a nice trick if you could. We were playing all for one. Which actually, if you're playing Ziggs on All for One, funnily enough, your satchel charge actually affects other Ziggs.
Yep.
So that's always nice and fun.
And the games always last 40 minutes.
Yes, that too, because you can never push into Ziggs. Funnily enough, not even Ziggs can. Obvious he's going to engage.
Yeah, Obvious with the shockwave of Perfect will be able to pick up the kill, but he is going to pay the price, as he will go down to Yuki in the end. Now, Diud might be the second casualty of Perfect. Double kill for him as he picks up that one as well. He's starting to be a real menace here for G2, as he is starting to hammer on this turret, and he will be able to pick it up. That means it's a 1,000 gold lead at the moment for Faculty. It's not a lot, but it is starting to be something.
It is indeed, and they may be collapsing here on Ocelot.
Ocelot in a bit of trouble. Perfect from the side throws down the dissonance, and he gets the kill. Now this turret is going to go down as well. With Ocelot removed from the equation, it is a very dire situation for G2 as they move in for this second turret in that mid lane. They will be able to pick that one up. The inhibitor is next. I don't see this one standing for too long either. And just like that, Faculty secure themselves an inhibitor.
Yeah, and that's a really important inhibitor to go down there, because, I mean, we always talked about it. Inhibitor turrets are the pretty much the safe keepers of the game, as everybody would like to think it's Nexus turrets. Nope, it's inhibitor turrets, because if you have all your inhibitor turrets, you can never lose a game. But Faculty are now a little bit on the retreat. They want to go and spend up. They've got a lot of gold, 3,000 gold on Perfect right now. They want to get that into items, and looking at it, probably a Zhonya's Hourglass going to get completed, what with that needlessly large rod there already. But I mean, the itemization on the side of Faculty is looking really good right now. Twin Shadows has been picked up a little while back out of Pronbear, and that's just helping them stick to whoever they end up finding.
Yeah, the Twin Shadows and the Bilgewater Cutlass, of course, on Obvious is really proving valuable so far. Mountain now blocking out some of that damage, or actually probably all of the damage that Ocelot is throwing at them. Ace and Low coming through. Ocelot is going to take a bit of damage, not too much, and he will be able to clear out this wave relatively quickly. And Faculty, however, will be able to clear out the dragon, I believe. We do see G2 heading over there slowly but surely. They are not going to be in time, however, as Obvious will pick that one up, and that means that they are now 4,000 gold in the lead, which is starting to ramp up quite quickly at this point.
It's accelerating pretty quickly here, as you said, but I mean, with Baron coming up just over a minute, so essentially, it's going to be the waiting game a little bit, unless Faculty get caught. They just have to wait for middle lane to push in. They can secure another Baron and then kind of round out this game pretty handily, I'd have to feel. I mean, it's not a certainty, But with an inhibitor down, that should be the Baron going over to end faculty. But a minute left on that one. It's all about the vision, and faculty actually don't have the vision on the Baron pit right now either.
Yeah, neither of them, or actually G2 does have a bit of vision, not too much, but a bit. And then faculty do have, of course, their moving ward in the form of Obvious, who is now moving around to make sure that they know what is going on and near that. As he might go and try and contest for this blue buff. He gets kicked away by Morden, but he might still very well get it, and he is going to get it in the end as well. So that's a nice pick there. And this time around, Ocelot will not have a blue buff, so that is very unfortunate for him, and that might hurt his ability to wave clear here. Obvious now in that brush, as in faculty might be looking to flank around the side of G2, but at the moment they are not giving them that opportunity. They might either be baiting out a Baron here, or actually the Scrying Orb comes through, and that's going to spot out their attempt to take this one down. G2 are going to try and move in here, as in faculty do peel off of the Baron, and well, tensions rising once again.
Yeah, it's bubbling up here as Pronbear's looking to get in towards JWoww.
JWoww getting stunned up because of the passive. There's the culling and there's the glacial fissure as well. It will knock up one from the backside. Obvious did get the ultimate off, I believe. I'm not too sure. Yeah, he did get the Agni's Embrace off in the end. And faculty now once again moving for the Baron. G2, however, decide to push that mid lane. Let's see whether they continue that or they actually head for that Baron. They are going to head for that Baron, and faculty have already taken it down to 30% health. Shockwave comes through, it completely whiffs. Obvious will have to take this one down pretty quickly, but they peel off once again. Now Obvious heading for the G2 team. We will try and smite this one. Actually, Perfect goes down. In the meantime, Stu back in a bit of trouble as well. Double kill so far for Yuki. It is 4 kills, it is 5 kills. It's a clean ace and a Baron for G2.
It's all gone wrong at Baron here for End Faculty. They tried to take it, but the damage from Gamers2 was just too much. I think they expected them to just kind of rush down middle and take the inhibitor for the Baron, but Gamers2 with a great fight over Baron. That might actually just be the game here. They'll get the turret, they use the culling to push the wave, and I think they're probably just going to end.
Yeah, they do have still 30 seconds on the clock, so they have all the time they need. GG's getting called, and it is indeed a very good game. G2 take the game over in faculty, and they break their winning streak.
That puts End Faculty at 2 games to 1, and I mean, with now End Faculty dropping games to Gamers2 and NIP dropping a game to End Faculty, a lot is now riding on the NIP Gamers2 game, which is going to come up in just a little bit. I'm actually going to check whether that is next or whether that's a little bit later. It's the last game of the day, that one is, so a lot still to play for here.
Yeah, and that lot is coming up in a couple of minutes. So ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't followed the stream, make sure you do. And in the meantime, we will be taking a quick commercial break. Once we come back, the next game of the Hitbox Challenger Face-Off continues right here.